everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Preeti. I'm a first year computer science and engineering student at Venkateshwara College of Engineering, Bengaluru. Today we are diving into the fundamentals of Python programming. We'll be exploring Python data types, functions and exception handling. And we will finish off today's session with a fun programming challenge that is guess the number. So without any delay, let's get started. Python data types. In computer programming, data types specify the type of data that can be stored inside a variable. For example, num is equal to 24. Here 24, an integer, is assigned to the num variable. So the data type of num is of the int class. In Python, data types can be classified as numeric, dictionary, Boolean, set and sequence type. Numeric data type can be further classified as integer, complex number, float. Sequence type can also be further classified as strings, list and tuple. Python numeric data type. In Python, numeric data type is used to hold numeric values. Integers, floating point numbers and complex numbers fall under Python numbers category. They are defined as int, float and complex classes in Python. Int holds signed integers of non-limited length. Float holds floating decimal points and it's accurate up to 15 decimal places. Complex holds complex numbers. We can use the type of function to know which class a variable or a value belongs to. Let's see an example. We have created three variables named num1, num2, num3 and assigned the values 5, 2.0 and 1 plus 2j respectively. We have also used the type of function to know which class a certain variable belongs to. Since 5 is an integer value, type of function returns int as the class of num1, that is class int, and 2.0 as class float and 1 plus 2j as class complex. Python dictionary data type. Python dictionary is an ordered collection of items. It stores elements in key or value pairs. Here keys are unique identifiers that are associated with each value. Let's see an example. We have created a dictionary named capital city. Here keys are Nepal, Italy, England and values are Kathmandu, Rome and London. As we print capital city, in the output we get both keys and values as displayed in the screen. Python Boolean data type. Boolean data type represents one of the two values that is true or false. Let's see an example. Here we have created two variables x and y and assigned with the values 5 and 10 respectively. Now let's check x is equal to y or not. As we check, we get the output as false, which represents our Boolean data type. And now we have created one more variable a and assigned the value true. Here we are checking the type of a, so we get the output as class bool, that is Boolean data type. Python set data type. Set is an unordered collection of unique items. Set is defined by values separated by commas inside curly braces. For example, we have created a set named student ID with 5 integer values. Since set are unordered collections, indexing has no meaning. So as we print the student ID, we get 112, 114, 115, 116 and 118 and each time these values shuffle as we print student ID. And when we print the type of student ID, we get the output as class set. Python sequence data type. Under Python sequence data type, the first one is string data type. String is a sequence of characters represented by either single or double quotes. For example, we have created string type variables name and message with the value Python and Python for beginners respectively. So as we print the name and message, we get the output as Python and Python for beginners. Python list data type. List is an ordered collection of similar or different types of items separated by commas and enclosed within square brackets. For example, we have created a list named languages with 3 string values inside it. Python tuple data type. Tuple is an ordered sequence of items same as a list. The only difference is that tuples are immutable. Tuples once created cannot be modified. In Python, we use the parenthesis to store items of a tuple. For example, here product is a tuple with a string value xbox and float value 499.99. Python functions. A function is a block of code that performs a specific task. In Python, the syntax to declare a function is we are going to use a keyword called def, then function name, followed by parameters, followed by colon, then our body of statement and return expression. Types of function in Python. Built-in library function. These are standard functions in Python that are available to use. User-defined function. We can create our own functions based on our requirements. Python function without parameters. Let's see an example. Here we have created a function greet. When the function greet is called, the program's control transfer to the function definition. All the code inside the function is executed. So now it prints hello world. The control of the program jumps to the next statement after the function call, and now it prints the statement outside function. Python function with parameters. We have created a function named addNumbers with arguments num1 and num2. And the next line sum is equal to num1 plus num2 calculates the sum of num1 and num2 and assigns the result to a variable named sum. And the third line prints out the sum of num1 and num2 along with the text sum. And the last line calls the addNumbers function with the arguments 5 and 4. This means num1 will be assigned with the value 5 and num2 will be assigned the value 4. As a result, the sum will be calculated and give the output as 9. Now let's see an example for Python library function. Here we have imported a math module to use the library functions sqrt function and POW function. The second line calculates the square root of 4 using the sqrt function from the math module and assigns the result to the variable square root. And we are going to print the value stored in the variable square root. The fourth line calculates 2 raised to the power of 3 using the POW function and assigns the result to a variable power. Similarly, we are going to print the value stored in the variable power. As we can see, the output is square root of 4 is 2.0 and 2 to the power 3 is 8. Python exceptions. An exception is an unexpected event that occurs during the program execution. For example, divide by 0 is equal to 7 divided by 0. The above code causes an exception as it is not possible to divide a number by 0. Python built-in exceptions. Name error. Raised when a variable is not found in local or global scope. Runtime error. Raised when an error does not fall under any other category. Syntax error. Raised by parser when syntax error is encountered. Indentation error. Raised when there is an incorrect indentation. Type error. Raised when a function or operation is applied to an object of incorrect type. Value error. Raised when a function gets an argument of correct type but improper value. Python exception handling. We can handle these built-in and user-defined exceptions in Python using try, except and finally statements. We place the code that might generate an exception inside the try block. Every try block is followed by an except block. When an exception occurs, it is called by the except block. The except block cannot be used without the try block. The finally block is always executed no matter whether there is an exception or not. The finally block is optional, and for each try block there can be only one finally block. Now let's look into the example. In try block we have two variables, numerator and denominator, with the values 10 and 0 respectively. We are dividing numerator by denominator and storing the value in result, and we are printing the result. Since the denominator is 0, we have an exception. So in except block we print error denominator cannot be 0. And in finally block we print this is finally block. So we get the output as error denominator cannot be 0. This is finally block. Now let's discuss a short program guess the number. First, a comment at the top of the code explains what the program does. Then the program imports the random module so that it can use the random.randin function to generate a number for the user to guess. The return value, a random integer between 1 and 20, is stored in the variable secret number. Now the program tells the player that it has come up with a secret number and will give the player 6 chances to guess it. The code that lets the player enter a guess and checks that guess is in a for loop that will loop at most 6 times. The first thing that happens in the loop is that the player types in a guess. Since input function returns a string, its return value is passed straight into integer function, which translates the string into an integer value. This gets stored in a variable named guess. If the guess is less than secret number, the program prints your guess is too low. If the guess is greater than secret number, the program prints your guess is too high. If the guess is neither higher nor lower than the secret number, then it must be equal to the secret number, in which case you want the program execution to break out of the for loop. If the guess is equal to secret number, then the program prints, "Good job, you guessed my number in plus the number of guesses taken." Or else it prints, "No, the number I was thinking of was," and it tells us the secret number. Now let's run the program, and I'll take a guess 5. Our guess is too low, so I think it might be 8, 10, and we guessed correctly, so we got the output as "Good job, you guessed my number in 3 guesses." I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching. Please do like and share the video.